So, the Netflix bubble appears to be slowly bursting. There are all these rumblings across the industry that a devaluation of the brand has begun and started the digital TV platform on a period of downward spiral. And a lot of the reasons that get floated around for this I personally think are surface level readings and can kinda be brushed off as coincidental. Chief among those is critical reception. Critical reception is a total red herring in my opinion. People usually start citing critical reception whenever any media property or franchise starts stalling, but it's nowhere near as relevant as people like to make out. Because stuff can still be shit and get the numbers. It just depends on how frequent the failures are that decides if people are ready to give up on it. I mean, I do agree that they haven't had that much luck with original movies, but they do still get a critical hit or two every once in a while. And even original movies that aren't hits with critics, like Bird Box, still gain a massive amount of traction among the wider public. Critical reception may be a factor in why Netflix has been stalling a bit lately, but it's nowhere near as big of an issue as the one that's the subject of this video, and that fortunately most people seem to have picked up on. And that is, you didn't promote it. My first example of this is The Rain. The Rain is a Scandinavian sci-fi dystopia show where a virus that lives in the rain kills people whenever there's rainfall. It follows a group of young people surviving in a deadly post-apocalyptic Denmark and trying to figure out why the rain is killing people. It wasn't amazing or anything, but I got advertised that shit everywhere. It was in my YouTube pre-video ads, in sidebars on websites. My cookies seemed to really think I'd like this show, so I checked it out, and lo and behold, I did. I was surprised by how bleak The Rain was. It was fucking brutal. It's very grimy, grey and miserable, and characters get killed off all the time. It was dangerous and rough around the edges, and it was totally up my street. So I finished season 1, really enjoyed it, looking forward to watching the next one whenever it comes out, and go back to my life for a year. Season 2 gets released the following year, and I didn't even know that it had come out. I only realised that The Rain Season 2 had been released when I remembered, oh yeah, The Rain, that was a show that existed. I type it in on the search bar, and I'm shocked to see that it's got new episodes on it. Like, how does this happen? How am I, someone who watched this show last year, unaware that it's back? Seriously, this is embarrassing. I watched this show. I am a target market for this show. My cookies figured that out the previous year when they sold me the show to begin with. The Rain Season 2 didn't come up in like a 4 Stewart bar or anything. Like, surely the site should at least remember that I watched it and tell me it's back when I log in. Wasn't even in the notifications bar. Didn't come up in the site header either. The site header seems to be ubiquitous for all users. The site header is the first thing you see when you log into Netflix. How about you tailor the site header to tell your users that a new season of a show they like is out? You know, just a thought. There is no excuse for The Rain Season 2 being basically fucking invisible on my end. Did they just think, well, we did the work last year, we got the viewer base, job done. But if I don't even know that it's back, how do you expect anyone to know to watch it? I'd be surprised if The Rain Season 2 got 50 viewers this year, because it was nowhere. I mean, maybe they felt the need to hide it because Season 2 is kind of really shit, but still, the fact this can happen with an original show by the world's leading digital TV platform is fucking astonishing to me. Oh yeah, and someone on Twitter told me that they only found out that there was a second season of it when I replied to a tweet by someone in Netflix marketing who was asking us to explain the "you didn't promote it" complaint. This should not happen. A whinging twat like me on the internet responding to someone on Twitter should not in any way be your show's primary bit of marketing. Cause hell, given how scarce promotion for The Rain Season 2 was, this is essentially all the advertising that it got. Someone complaining about the lack of advertising on Twitter. However bad the second season might be, this incident right here is something that the company should be fucking ashamed of. But what really pisses me off is the lack of promotion given to Tuca and Bertie. I am a nutcase for BoJack Horseman. Anyone who knows me has been subject to me going on about it for far too long, at least once. I didn't know that Tuca and Bertie existed, let alone the fact it was from the studio behind BoJack Horseman. It wasn't in the header on the site, no trailer fixed right there that started with the words "from the studio that brought you BoJack Horseman," which would have been a guaranteed instant click for me. I had to be told about Tuca and Bertie in my YouTube comment section by someone interested in what I'd make of it. It's a hard show to get into, it's very obtuse and niche, but I enjoyed it a lot, and I was looking forward to seeing how they'd build on this world in Series 2 and continue to satirise day-to-day anxiety and, oh, no, no one was watching it, cancelled, sorry, bye. This is the biggest Netflix injustice that I've witnessed. Tuca and Bertie got rave reviews across the board. It was starting to build its fanbase over the course of those first 6 months online, and loads of those fans were royally pissed when it got axed so quickly, and I was one of them. How the fuck do you expect a show to build its fanbase if the promotion department isn't even bothering getting the word out there for new shows to people who might be interested in those shows, like me for example? Yes, Tuca and Bertie's niche, not everyone's going to be up for something like this. Yes, it's a challenge to sell, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't at least, I don't know, try. A similar thing happened with the Miranda Sings series, Haters Back Off. I wouldn't have watched this at all if my girlfriend hadn't already been a fan of the Miranda Sings YouTube channel. It didn't seem like my sort of thing at all, but I watched it with her and I found it to be a really funny, absurd little comedy drama with ridiculous characters brushing up against sensible, real-world ones. And it also had a poignant underlying message about how this desperation to chase online fame can drive your loved ones away. Really, watch Haters Back Off. I was shocked at how legit it is, because as a YouTuber myself, obviously I related to its message. As said, I wouldn't have watched it because all I knew about Miranda Sings was that she sings bad on purpose, and that's just not really my thing. But the sitcom's built this surprisingly engrossing world around her persona. Its sense of humour is very similar to the movie Napoleon Dynamite, so if you like that, I'd recommend you check it out. And yet, Netflix seemed to think, well, Colleen is already this well-established e-celebrity, let's just leave her to do the bulk of the promotion for the show herself. And fuck the idea of trying to sell it to anyone outside of her core audience and draw in new people, like me for example, and oh no, ratings are down, let's just cancel it. Seriously, what kind of self-respecting TV platform acts this way? It just seems to me that unless you're Orange is the New Black, Stranger Things, the Breaking Bad movie, and thank God Black Mirror's part of this list, that Netflix can't really be asked to put the work into getting the word out there. And these are shows that already have well-established fan bases. They don't need nearly as much help as an up-and-comer does to build their audience. I see Black Mirror and Orange is the New Black and Stranger Things posters on the London Underground, on billboards that I walk past, on websites, in my Twitter feed. Alright, you got me, I'm watching it. And this is important, yes, as your target market needs to at least know that your show's back, as we've established with The Rain. But that's the easier one. You already had me to begin with. That's just making me aware that a show that's already massively popular that I already like is back for a new series. It's not selling me anything. Does anyone at Netflix think that a marketing strategy like this is sustainable? Netflix needs to be better at marketing new shows, because the big hits with established fan bases will end eventually. BoJack Horseman's ending at the end of January. Apparently there will be a Stranger Things Series 4, but the cast are growing up now and I'm struggling to see a future beyond that. And what shows are going to be left to pick up the pieces if even your critical darlings like Tuca and Bertie aren't safe from the axe because no one was watching them? And the reason no one's watching them is because no one was sold them. Marketing is about selling. If you're only bothering to market products that you've already sold, not even that in some cases, and aren't marketing new products at all, then surprise surprise, you're not going to sell anything. This tendency to put more focus on promoting your bigger shows while smaller ones are left by the wayside has been happening in Netflix's promotion department for quite some time now. And it wasn't as much of a problem a few years ago, but now when you've got so many new shows launching and failing to make much of an impact, one after another, the problem with the way they approach promotion is becoming a lot more apparent. Things need to change as soon as possible, or these rumblings around the industry that the Netflix bubble is finally bursting are only going to get louder. It's not just competition and the emergence of rivals that's doing this. Netflix's CEO has tried to pin it on this, but that was always going to happen, and trying to pin it on that is just an excuse and it indicates a lack of forethought, and what's worse is that it's an attempt on Netflix's part to weasel out of admitting that they have got some systemic issues. Being in denial and as a result refusing to address your really quite blatant problems is kind of the opposite of how companies survive tough times. This issue is huge and severe, and importantly, it's potentially crippling.